I call the regular meeting of the Lakewood City Council of July 23rd, 2012 to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Murphy?
Here.
Hall? Here. Barraway? Here. King? Here. Allen? Here. Coop?
Here.
Ellen? Royball?
Here.
Quinn?
Here.
Johnson? Here. Wickman? Here. You have a quorum.
Thank you. As always, I want to thank everyone for choosing to take part in their local government, either here in person or via the internet or via Channel 8 at home. As always, I'd also like to remind anyone to silence any electronic devices, as I just reminded myself to do, any phones, etc. At this time, I would ask everyone to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and please remain standing for a moment of silent prayer. And you know, if I might just quickly add to, please keep the victims and families of the Aurora tragedy in your hearts during this prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. You know, since I mentioned that, I was going to mention this under our reports. I did have the opportunity last evening to represent the city at the community vigil in Aurora, and you know, lots of comments have been made about the incident itself. I'm not going to expand on those comments except to say that it was a pleasure to represent the city there. The entire region was represented at that vigil last night, and that was it was a very powerful experience to be there. And the second thing I would say, Sam Mamet and I were just talking about this. I had a chance to talk to Mayor Hogan, and both thank him personally for his leadership, and to express to him not just my feeling, but the feeling of so many that have watched this situation. Compliments on the way that organization, that city, handled this event from start to finish, from the emergency responders to the hospitals to all the leadership of the city. It's just been a remarkably kind of textbook response, and I think it's, and when we do the you know, the usual critiques and downloads, I think all of the feedback is going to be incredibly positive. I just can't say enough about the great way that city responded to the incident, and the way the community has responded to the situation that they found themselves in. It's just remarkable spirit out there. So our thoughts and prayers are with the victims, their families, and with the entire community, our friends in Aurora. Any other comments on that? Thank you. Well, we have a very special occasion here. Item 4, if you don't mind, Margie, I'd like to read this one into the record. Presentation recognizing Diana Allen's service to the Colorado Municipal League. And I would ask Diana to go down in front to the microphone here and ask the Executive Director of the Colorado Municipal League, Mr. Sam Mamet, to come on down.
Thank you, and good evening, honorable members of the council, Mr. Mayor, and distinguished staff and people in the audience. I'm Sam Mamet. I'm the Executive Director of the Colorado Municipal League. We're a statewide association of 265 cities and towns, and I wanted to come here tonight and acknowledge one of the members of this great council representing this terrific city who served as our president the past year. And that is Diana Allen. And I just simply wanted to stop by tonight and acknowledge her leadership, because she is a leader throughout the state and recognized as such, and express to you our deepest appreciation for allowing us to have Diana as our president this past year, and most importantly to put up with me, which is a feat in and of itself. And I can't say enough about Diana in terms of her as a person and an individual, as well as a leader of city and town officials. We put Diana to work numerous times on many issues that she probably had no clue that she was getting involved with a year ago when we hosted our board retreat that Diana presided over just across the way here at the Cultural Center. She's been a great leader in our organization and has been acknowledged as such in two specific areas in which our board and our membership presented to Diana this lifetime honorary life membership to Diana Allen and grateful acknowledgement of her distinguished contribution to the League in cities and towns of Colorado while serving as president of the League. This was given to Diana by our incoming board president, Aidan Hogan, last month. And I wanted the council and everyone here to acknowledge that and be aware of it. And secondly, it takes, in addition to her service as president, she also completed first level of CML municipal elected officials leadership training over the past year, which takes a great deal of commitment in and of itself. And I know some of you have been through our training, and this is the acknowledgement that we gave Diana for that. So I just simply wanted to say hello tonight. It's a pleasure to be here. It's always an honor to come before you all and come to this great city. And just thank you for allowing us to have Diana as our president this year, and she deserves a round of applause for that, in my opinion. So thank you, Diana. There you go.
Thank you, Sam. Diana, we're very proud of you. So
it seems so strange to stand down here.
it is strange, isn't it?
Down here. I did want to say a couple of words. The first was what an honor it was to be elected to the CML board in the first place and then have the opportunity to be an officer. It's a great organization. As a newly elected official, I really didn't know what I was getting into, which I'm sure many of you can identify with because it's quite different once you get into office and start dealing with issues. And Colorado Municipal League has just the most phenomenal resources to find out what your job description is and what your duties are as a city leader and the difference between policy making and, being a member of the community at large. There's a lot of changes there, legal issues to deal with, and I really appreciate all of the resources that Colorado Municipal League offers, whether it's budget or legal issues or staffing issues. They have great staff to help you out, and Sam, although sometimes he's a little bit of a challenge, is really a great person to work with, and I really appreciated the opportunity. And the favorite thing that he did, and I should have brought it, was, I'm from a small town, and kind of like, every time I get to do things like this, I'm like, I can't believe I'm up here. I'm like, I get kind of excited. And I had the opportunity to introduce both of our senators at a recent conference, and I was like, wow, I can't believe I get to do this. And he actually had a photo of the three of us, and he had both of them sign it, and I was like, how great is that? So he can really be a good guy a lot of times. So just wanted to say that briefly, and thanks to all of you for putting up with me talking about CML, and mostly for those of you that have attended things and have supported me. I really appreciate it.
Well, Diana, thank you. As I said, we've all been very proud of you when we go to the annual CML summer conference to see you standing up there presiding. It's great for all of us. So thank you. Any other comments? Come on, guys.
I do want to say one thing.
Sure.
It's I serve, of course, with Diana Allen in Ward 5, and it's always so great, Diana, because you are one of those straight talkers that just gets right to the point on everything, and I'm sure you did exactly the same thing on the CML board, although I was never at one of the meetings. And that's a really good thing about your personality. When I'm kind of hedging around and making arguments both ways, you just come right to the punch, and I always appreciate that about you. So, and we're very proud of you and your service as CML president.
Great. Ramey.
Thank you. I just want to say, Diane, I'm so proud of you. And you were the first person that reached out to me and tried to encourage me to get involved in CML. You believe in it, and you represent CML. Thank you so much. I appreciated that, personally.
Thank you. She wants to get out of there. Sam, thank you very much for coming out tonight. Thank you for your leadership.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, for letting me do this.
All right. Take care. It's a little different down there, isn't it? Will the clerk please read item 5 into the record?
Item 5, proclamation recognizing Julia Mihailova.
Well, as you're about to hear, Julia is a remarkable young woman, and I would ask Councilor Coop to read the proclamation into the record.
Proclamation in appreciation of Julia Mihailova. Whereas the Mayor and City Council of the City of Lakewood desire to formally express appreciation and congratulations to Julia Mihailova. And whereas Julia is a 2012 valedictorian of Lakewood High School, and whereas Julia served on the Advisory Commission for an Inclusive Community from October 2010 to June 2012 while attending high school, and whereas Julia was a National Merit Scholarship winner and National Honor Society president, and whereas she also received second place at the International Debate Tournament in New York City, and whereas she is a recipient of a Betcher and Duke scholarship, has been admitted to Princeton University and will attend Duke on a full scholarship in the fall, and whereas Julia is planning on studying engineering and eventually wants to go to law school and become a patent lawyer. Now, therefore, on behalf of the City Council and the people of the City of Lakewood, I, Bob Murphy, Mayor of the City of Lakewood, Colorado, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby express our appreciation for her service and recognize Julia Mihailova for her outstanding accomplishments, given under my hand and seal of the City of Lakewood, this 23rd day of July, 2012 A.D., Bob Murphy, Mayor.
It gives me, it's a great privilege to be able to present this to you, and if there's a real beaming face in the back of the room, that's Julia's mother, Olga, and Olga worked for us for many years in the planning department and made her mark on this city. When you look at some of the projects up on Colfax Avenue, Colfax Central, Home Depot among them, so long line of leadership, and Julia, congratulations. That's a remarkable achievement. Congratulations.
Well, I certainly have to echo what Diana said, and what an incredible honor it really is to be given this. I never would have expected to be receiving anything like this. They said I'm valedictorian at Lakewood, but I was one of 10 valedictorians, because our school was really incredible, and I think that's part of the support, the community that offered me, and without it, I would not have been able to do any of this. Of course, my mother was an incredible help, and Lakewood High School, I could not have asked for a better high school. But also the Lakewood City government was surprisingly welcoming to students being a part of government, and I would encourage any students who want to get involved. It's definitely an amazing opportunity. I've met some incredible people, some of whom are sitting back there right now. And I know that Lakewood's always been my home. I'm very proud of that, and I'm sure I'll be coming back to Lakewood in the future. So thank you so, so much for all of this.
Thank you. And Olga told me a minute ago, you know, she got the Betcher Scholarship, which has to be used in a Colorado university, and I think Mom maybe wishes she'd taken advantage of that. But when the opportunity for a full scholarship at Duke University comes along, it's pretty doggone hard to turn down. So congratulations and best wishes on your future. This is the point in a meeting where the public is invited to address City Council on items that do not appear on the agenda. I ask that all in attendance observe the decorum of City Council chambers and refrain from applause or audible support or discord with the speaker. There is a 3-minute time limit per speaker. The indicator lights on the lectern will glow yellow after 2.5 minutes and red when your 3-minute time limit is up, at which time I would ask you to wrap up your comments. There are 8 or 9 folks that have indicated a desire to speak by signing up on the roster. After that, I will just ask if anyone who didn't sign up on the roster wishes to speak under public comment on non-agenda items. So with that, I'll call the first speaker, Troy Talbert.
And I need to tell my name and address, is that correct?
We have yours, you've listed it here on the public record, so we're fine.
Okay.
And actually, that goes for everybody whose name I read off. You've given us your address, so we don't need to hear it.
Thank you, honorable council members, Mayor Murphy. Thank you for this opportunity to speak tonight. I'm here as a parent of a deaf child of the Rocky Mountain Deaf School, and I'm here representing its building committee. I'm here to thank you for approving Ordinance O-212-11 for the rezoning of 2090 South Wright Street. I know it was a tough decision. I also know that it was made based on objective review of the facts, and these facts prevailed. We are excited to start the design phase of the building, and we have already spoken to some supportive members of the neighborhood that we hope will join us in this process. We look forward to building a LEED certified state-of-the-art building that will be a proud addition to Lakewood and its citizens. Thank you again for your time and support.
Thank you, Mr. Talbert. Peyton Talbert, please.
Hello, my name is Peyton Talbert. I'm here as an RMDS student. I want to just tell you thank you for your support for RMDS's new building. I really thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Peyton. Charlene Zahn.
Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
Can you hear me? Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
First, I would like to thank the citizens of Lakewood for all their efforts to protect the parkland at 2090 South Wright Street. Thank you for coming to City Council meetings. Thank you for writing letters and emails to raise awareness. And thank you to all those currently working hard to gather the required number of signatures to bring the 2090 Wright Street rezoning issue in front of the public. Your efforts are much appreciated. If you haven't signed the petition yet, just give us a ring at 720-509-9398 or go to the 2090 Coalition website, 2090coalition.com. We all care very deeply about our community and the future of our neighborhoods. Lakewood is a place where zoning has a lot of importance and a consistent nature. The well-thought-out design of our city creates desirable neighborhoods and increases property values, which in turn increases revenues and thus quality of life. The lack of a unanimous vote on the rezoning of the parkland demonstrates that all matters have not been thoroughly vetted, and therefore the rezoning decision should have been postponed. In addition, I'm troubled by the fact that the city is publishing information about 2090 South Wright Street, which does not tell the whole story and sadly includes half-truths. This is a poor reflection on our city, and in my view, discourages rather than encourages citizen participation. I'm convinced that the mayor and the council have not listened adequately to the well-thought-out reasoning against this development. Until both sides of this story are told in a fair and unbiased manner, the city is doing a disservice to the Lakewood citizens by preventing them from getting the true facts. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Zahn. And, this is certainly going to be an ongoing conversation. In terms of presenting the facts, I'm sure we'll have more public input that will say the same thing tonight. But Ms. Zahn just used the term protecting the parkland. This is not parkland. So in terms of representing the facts, let's make sure that everybody does that. Greg Kelly, please.
Good evening. I'm Greg Kelly. In June, nearly 100 Lakewood citizens and neighbors attended the City Council meeting to voice their opposition to rezoning open space land on Green Mountain, located at 2090 South Wright Street. This land was advertised to the neighbors as open space and had been for several decades. Neighbors bordering this particular property even pay extra taxes for their prime location on the open space. Some folks even made home purchase decisions after having been explicitly told by the city that there would be no concern that the land adjacent to them would ever be developed. But in June of 2012, this piece of open land came up for rezoning so it could be developed into a commercial school complex for a special interest group. This is not opinion, this is fact. Your Lakewood elected officials, despite massive community opposition, despite receiving over 1,000 pages of reasons to vote against this proposal, and despite several opportunities to mediate a better solution, passed the measure to rezone land that should not be up for development. Development that includes parking lots, administrative offices, multi-story buildings, commercial traffic, lighting, noise, roads, and an overall impact that will radically and forever reduce the quality of life on the western edge of Lakewood. A commercial impact that is not suitable for the 3 surrounding neighborhoods to absorb. This has instigated such a strong community response that this issue will likely be coming to citizens for a vote by the people. We would encourage everyone to look very closely at the details of this issue, which we recognize as complicated and deserving careful attention. Of course, there are 2 sides to every story, and the opportunity to understand and evaluate both sides hasn't happened yet. I really want to thank our Lakewood neighbors for their continued encouragement so this can come to a vote by the affected citizens, and we can achieve a reasonable solution to a difficult situation. If you want more information, please go to 2090coalition.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Dan McCaskey? Chief McCaskey.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm Dan McCaskey, and I've had the honor of serving the citizens of Lakewood for over 26 years as a police officer in this community. Tonight I'm here to talk about Ralston House, and I'd like to also introduce Ms. Dot Wright, who's the president of the Arvada Chamber of Commerce, and we co-chair the Ralston House 0.5K committee. It's a fundraising event for Ralston House. But just briefly, I want to talk about Ralston House, and I'll let Ms. Wright talk about our event. We have 2 locations of Ralston House, one in Arvada and one in Lakewood. And we have great support from council in the city of Lakewood and the city of Arvada. And actually, Councilor Sue King is on our board as well and has dedicated her service to Ralston House. Last year, we provided service to almost 900 children who were victims of sexual or physical abuse. And this year, we expect to even top that number even more. And it's unfortunate that we talk about sexual abuse in society, and it's something that doesn't go away. You read the papers today, and you look at Penn State, and you see some of the issues with Joe Paterno, and sexual abuse is really a significant problem in our community. But Ralston House is a nonprofit organization. We provide a great service, and our 0.5K is one of our big fundraisers, and we'd like to invite City Council and citizens of Lakewood to join us, and I'll let Dot speak about that.
Thank you. Do you need my address? Because I'm not on the list. Okay, great. Well, thank you, guys. We let Chief McCaskey go first, and he took up all the time, so he knew I talk fast, and I'll tell you about the race super quick.
There's 2 of you. You get 6 minutes.
Yeah. I get more time. I like it. 0.5K. That is exactly it. It is 1,640 feet of fun. We run around the block in Arvada because 5K is just too long for us. About 6 years ago, we started a 0.5K endurance challenge for Ralston House. And when I was on the board for Ralston House and was asked to chair this event, we thought, well, let's not just do this in Arvada. Let's expand it to the community because Ralston House does serve all the different cities in Jefferson County as well as Gilpin County and up the canyon. So because we have a facility here in Lakewood, we thought it would be a great idea to have a race here in Lakewood as well. So we started the 0.5K here last year. It was very successful. If you guys have gone to the coffee shop across the street, and if you've had to park on the east end or the west end of this parking lot and had to walk into this building, you've already walked as far as what it is that we are going to run around the block here. So we go all out. We do pancakes so that you have enough carbs to make it through the 0.5K. We serve you coffee so that you have the caffeine because we start bright and early in the morning, 10 o'clock on a Saturday. It's bright and early. And then halfway through, we give you a water break. And we have water and the rescue team's out there just in case you can't make it all the way through. We also have police cars, we have fire trucks, we have ambulances out there, all kinds of stuff just to make sure that y'all survive that 0.5K endurance challenge. Am I missing anything, Chief? Say it again. Oh, the day. I always forget the day. Yeah, Saturday, August 11th. If you'd like to participate in more than one, and if you'd like to gear up and train for your Lakewood .5K, we have an Arvada .5K the Saturday before on August 4th. So the Arvada race for .5K is Saturday, August 4th, 10 a.m., and Lakewood is Saturday, August 11th at 10 a.m. We've got information, and Sue can also give you some information, and you've got information as well. ralstonhouse.net for registration forms and more information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will be there, and I'm in training. I had Swedish pancakes at IKEA just a couple of weeks ago. It's a great event. Thank you. David Miller, please.
Yes, to the Honorable Council, Mayor, greetings. My name is David Miller, and first I want to say a big thank you to our many Lakewood citizens for their support in preventing a special interest group from steamrolling our wonderful community. I would like to bring attention to a sampling of signatures on a petition for citizens who have taken their time to express an interest in the 2090 Wright Street and, at a minimum, should have the opportunity to vote on the 2090 Wright Street rezoning issue. These signatures represent your constituency, and they deserve your careful consideration of their right to participate in the ballot access. We bring with us many people's concerns tonight and evidence of their growing awareness of the issues surrounding the 2090 rezone application. Ultimately, it is the city's choice to bring this to a vote of the electorate. Would you listen to the special interests, or will you listen to the people that elected you? Shortly, we, the 2090coalition.com, will be turning in all our petitions, notarized and validated, and we again thank our Lakewood neighbors for their endorsement and support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Jeanette Kelly, please. I'm sorry, Councilor Paul.
Thanks, Mayor. I just wanted to clarify the interest group, for those of you who are not aware, are children in our community. That's the interest group that's being talked about as the future of our country. Thank you.
First of all, good evening. I, too, am a Lakewood neighbor, and I oppose the City Council's rezoning of 2090 South Wright Street, as it is not in the best interest of our community. The petition process is a safeguard built into the system to allow citizens to challenge decisions made by elected officials that harm the very people that they are elected to represent. After the petition is submitted and validated, the council has two choices: either reverse the decision or put it to a vote of the people. The mayor and councilor members are elected to represent their constituents, not to arbitrarily make decisions that hurt our community, not to represent special interest groups, and not to pit good neighbors against each other. This is what our city council did by voting to illegally take the land out of planned development and rezone to 2R, which makes for a very uncertain future for this property. The city professes that they want citizen involvement, and they tell us that our concerns and our input are valuable. However, every time we've expressed our concerns, they are entered into the record, not always accurately, and then they are completely ignored. Citizens should be concerned that neighborhood after neighborhood in Lakewood has had to fight City Hall to protect themselves from backroom deals. Remember the Switch the Ditch, the unwanted ball field at Coyote Gulch Park, and the attempted development of a ravine that is vital to our wildlife. And now, here we are again. Another neighborhood group and another bad deal. There are valid legal objections regarding the rezoning of 2090 South Wright Street, and the city councilors are brushing them all off as if they are inconsequential. Since they won't represent their constituents, we are asking the community to consider both sides of this issue and decide for themselves. Help us make this happen by signing our petition. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly. Councilor Barraway?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to make a comment because I've had some phone calls and inquiries from citizens who have been approached by people who have asked them to sign a petition. And unfortunately, the information they were given at the place where they were asked to sign that petition is inaccurate information. So to say that you are out there trying to protect parkland is an inaccurate statement. The land we are referring to is 10 acres of land that is surrounded by city's parkland. But the 10 acres of land that was rezoned on June 29th belongs to Jefferson County Public School District. It has been their land since 1977. If you want to go back and look at the development plans that were put in place in the early 1970s, it did say that if for some reason there was no school built, it would revert back to the city of Lakewood. We never took ownership of that piece of land. It was given to us by or sold to Jefferson County Public School District by the developer in 1977. However, if you want to use that argument, it did say that that land could then be used for municipal purposes. It did not say parkland. It did not say park space. It did not say open space. It said municipal purposes. What does that mean? That means we could build a maintenance facility there. We could put a recycling center there. If that were the case, that's not the facts. The facts are the land belongs to Jefferson County Public School District. So these citizens that have called me were very upset to find out that they were asked to sign a petition that said to save open space. When they found out the information was inaccurate, they were very upset with the people who had asked them to sign that petition. So as you said, there are two sides of the story. The only thing I agreed on what I just heard tonight is that I think all citizens should make sure they find out all the facts of everything that has occurred, and you can do so by looking at the Planning Commissioner's report, by looking at the videotape of the night of our hearing, rezoning hearing here on June 29th that lasted for many hours, and they can look at all the material, including the material you just put in front of us earlier. So that's one thing I do agree with you on, is all citizens should take a look at all the facts that are involved in this case and make your decision, and don't rely upon misinformation given to you by a petitioner at a library or a grocery store or someplace else. Thank you.
Thank you. Derek Sevier, please. Derek Sevier.
Sorry, thank you. Hello, thank you all for passing the rezoning for my kids' sake. And I'm really happy about that. If you want to know more about the facts, please do look at our website at www.coalitionfacts.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sevier. Luis Martinez, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. First, want to apologize for my tire. Didn't really have enough time to shave and get all cleaned up, so I apologize for that. Watching the kids while the wife's out doing some medical volunteer service in Nicaragua, so I'm on my own. It's been a little rough for me. In any case, I wanted to thank you, first of all, for blending both science and art in determining what should be voted on and how things should run with the 2090 South Right for the Rocky Mountain Deaf School. I am the father of 2 deaf children, and I've heard them say tonight that it's a special interest group, and I think I agree. My kids are special, and I'm definitely interested in them. So I would agree they are a special interest. You guys have had a very tough choice to make with this, and I work in government, and I am not envious of your job at all. You guys are making tough decisions, and I just wanted to say thank you very, very much for what you've done. And I hope that the council, and it's already been, you guys have already voted on how you want this to go. I'm just very impressed and very honored to have Lakewood stay congruent with some of their pioneering, trailblazing efforts, such as first in the state to have fire-based EMS, first in the state to have a police department that required a bachelor's degree, and you guys are going to be one of the first in the state to get a Rocky Mountain Deaf School, a deaf school for children who definitely need it. So everybody, thank you very much for all your hard work. Thanks for keeping the facts straight and getting people steered in the right direction. I appreciate it so very much. I cannot articulate how much I'm impacted by your efforts and how thankful I am. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. That exhausts the list of those who have indicated a desire to speak by signing up on the roster. Would anyone else in chambers wish to comment on a non-agenda item? Mr. Muller and then Mr. Margatti. Mr. Muller, welcome back. Your absence has been noted and you've been missed.
I have been missed. That's lovely. I really have. It seems like I've retired for quite a while. Between Bob Murphy's guidance and Kathy Hodgson, they've done a magnificent job for the last 3 years, and I really appreciate it because you've made my life a lot simpler. It's been for the betterment of the whole city, what you guys have done over the last 3 years. And I have no complaints at all. None. Till now. And I'm getting flashbacks from Steve Burkholder and Mike Rock doing whatever they want to do, whenever they want to do it. You guys are doing it again where you won't take what the citizens are saying to heart. They're saying, we don't want this here. And I'm not a big open space guy. I'd much rather see a bunch of ball fields than I would anything else. If I would have had my way, we wouldn't even have the hospital. We would have a bunch of ball fields where that is. But when neighbors are told that it's going to be a park, that it's going to be open space, that they build their lives around knowing that what's going to happen in their neighborhood. It's their neighborhood. It's not yours. It's not yours. It's not yours. It's their neighborhood. They should decide what's going to be put into their neighborhoods. Not because you guys are more smarter or anything else. You guys, that is their neighborhood. Let them decide. We've done this so many times, and it's cost the city so much money to reverse some of the decisions that Burkholder and Rock made. I don't want it to happen here. Yeah, there is going to be a issue come up, and it's going to go to the voters, and it's going to get bloody, and it's going to get ugly, and there's going to be a lot of heartache. But you know that the people that have the neighborhood are going to prevail. And it's up to you guys to negotiate something before it gets to that point. That's your job, is negotiate with the different factions. Is there another place you can put this? Why do we have to do it this way, and why did we have to force it down their throats? That's not the way to do it, because it costs the city money, and it upsets their neighborhood, not your neighborhood, their neighborhood. You don't run it. It's not yours. That's their neighborhood. Thanks for your time, guys, and I hope this all gets worked out, because I really don't like coming up here.
Thanks, Mike. Always good to hear from you. Anyone else? Oh, Mr. Margatti.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. I hadn't planned on coming up here this evening to discuss the zoning at all. But I'm sure nobody heard or didn't want to hear what Councilman Barroway had to say. That's not the point. The point is, people have approached me also and tried to get me to sign a petition. I've learned over the years that you read a petition and you look and see what the actual petition says, not what some guy gives to you verbally. Now, as far as the election coming up, God bless them. It should cost the city another $250,000. Maybe we'll take it away from some open space, or maybe we'll take it away from something else. But it's going to be a futile battle, because there are some of us that are out there fighting for the rights of the deaf school, because we are an all-American city. And those are parts of the claims that we made a year or so ago that we would do for everybody, not just for a single element, not for a single group. But that's it. I mean, people can be smug about it. They can do whatever they want with it. But it's not going to happen like that. There's going to be a deaf school built there. And it's going to happen. And it's going to perpetuate itself through the years. And most of those people will be moving out into a different home or leaving the area and going elsewhere. But that school will be there for a long time. I think that that's what we have to look at. All right. Sorry about that. That wasn't my intended. My intention to come up here tonight was for the West Metro Fire Department. On December the 5th, in conjunction with St. Anthony's Hospital, there will be a cancer benefit at Station 10. Anybody wants to get a haircut, they can come. There's going to be barbers there. They'll shave your head if you so deem it, whatever you want. But it'll be there between 2 and 5 p.m. on Sunday, September the 5th. August the 5th. I'm sorry, August the 5th. I'm getting ahead of myself. There will be a vehicle that's coming in from New York City that we will hold here for several months as far as the stair climb affair. It's a lift machine, and it will be on the premises there. If you want to bring your kids in for a haircut before
I'd ask you to wrap up your comments if you could, please.
I'm sorry. If they want to bring their kids in for a haircut before they go to school, it's all free. There'll be barbers and beauticians on stage.
Please wrap up your comments. Thank you.
I am finished.
All right, I'm finished. Thank you. Anyone else? Come on down. Please give us your name and address.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, Council, citizens of Lakewood, my name is David Hartley. I live at 2250 South Zane Court, Lakewood, Colorado, 80228. I'm a registered voter, and I'm a member of the 2090 Coalition. I had some prepared remarks that are going to talk about our petition and about our effort to have a referendum to basically get the citizens of Lakewood, the voting registered citizens and taxpayers of Lakewood, to vote on this issue. I found out about the issue in January of this year, and I understand just from some background facts that this had been in some background discussions for some time before that. I found out about it quite by accident. I don't live within 100 feet of the property. I tried to, having been in other parts of the country where there's a little more transparency and openness in government, I could have actually called my council member and said, I really want to talk about this. I feel strongly about this issue. I need more facts. I'd really like to get out the facts. People keep using the word facts like, that's all that matters. That if I accidentally call the land open space or a park, that somehow that's what you're going to hang your hat on. That's the problem. That's not the problem. The problem is that when we go around and we're petitioning now to get this out in the open, what really resonates with the citizens of Lakewood is not these so-called facts or what we call the land or any of that. They go, it sounds to me like this actually did get pushed through kind of fast, and I don't know all the facts. I need more time. And so when they hear these people, when we go up and we ask for people to sign that petition, it's not about, we're pressuring them to, sign something that they don't want to sign. What they're hearing is that there was not enough due process, there was not enough transparency, and it's being rushed through. What they're hearing is that the government is not listening to the people. So I respectfully, I respectfully want to say to the Rocky Mountain Deaf School that this is not us against you or vice versa. This is not us against each other. This is about the citizens of Lakewood having a fair and open discussion about this topic. And between January and now, that's no time at all. We haven't had enough time to discuss it. So I respectfully would like to ask the citizens who have not signed that petition to, find a petitioner, sign that petition, go online if you have to and get more information. But I respectfully ask you to sign the petition, which will allow us to get it on the ballot as a referendum and have the citizens of Lakewood truly decide this issue. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Hartley. Anyone else? Ma'am, come on down. And then Mr. Fox.
My name is Barbara Franks, Franks, 2120 South Youngfield Street, 80228. Dear citizens, the Council's decision to approve the rezoning request for 2090 South Wright Street without sufficient regard to the long-term impact to the community is quite troubling. The fact that the vote was not unanimous demonstrates that this issue is not clear-cut. The matter deserves further discussion, and I know that once people hear all the facts, they are going to find out that this issue is far more complex than just a school being built on land that the city previously declared open space. The complexities involve land ownership and compatibility with surrounding uses. There have been broken promises, and there are major concerns over the quasi-judicial process that favors the applicant and deprives citizens of their constitutional right to discuss public matters with their elected officials. I have been researching the issue for months, and there has been a staggering amount of information to digest. Despite the time I've invested, there are still many unanswered questions. Given the short amount of time the City Council had to review nearly 1,000 pages of submitted material, I am convinced that their analysis was incomplete and the vote premature. The mayor may tell you about this program he was on or ask that you refer to the city's website for more information, but I find both disturbingly incomplete, factually inaccurate in spots, and that they demonstrate a clear bias. Conversely, there is a lot of thoroughly researched and independently verifiable information on the 2090 Coalition website, and that's a good starting point. How we as a city accommodate growth while maintaining and improving the quality of life for our citizens is paramount and requires careful consideration. We need and deserve the opportunity for an in-depth and open discussion between all interested parties. We need to come together to find a solution that is a win-win for everyone involved. Citizens deserve to hear all the facts so they can be an informed guiding force in the direction and future growth of our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Franks. Mr. Fox? Diane, you want to talk now? Let's wait.
John Fox, 1133 South Eaton Street, Lakewood. Tonight we have heard from two sides on an issue. Councilman Barraway, I really appreciate what you said because you took the words out of my mouth at what I was going to say. What rankles me is really the petition process. You can for City Council to debate something and to come up with a decision, and then to have it go to a petition process when a soundbite is all that people hear and they're asked to sign a petition. I was approached a couple times, and the soundbite is, sign this petition to save our open space. That is not the issue at all. If this petition is successful, then it goes to the City Council, decides if they wanted to pursue it or just go with the petition. If they say they're going to stick with their decision, it goes to a vote. Then the citizens have to pay for this. I think then we will then hear the true story, but you cannot get the true story in a 2-second soundbite by somebody who's paid for your signature to get a signature. The issue is not that this will save our open space. If the petition is successful, it will revert to a PD, plan development. And as Cindy said, it could be a municipal building built there. It could be just about anything. Maybe it would be a correction facility. Who knows? It could be a horror story. But really, the petition process really rankles me that these people can get away with just saying something very simple and very untrue, and people sign this. I tried to discuss the issue with the petition gatherers, but they didn't really want to discuss it. They just said it's a swap for land, and if they sign this, you'll get the open space back. That's not the issue at all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Anyone else? Sir, come on down.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I wanted to say a few things.
Name and address.
I'm sorry. My name is Art Beck, and my address is 2148 South Xenophon, Lakewood 80228. First thing is regarding a soundbite. I think for many people who worked many hours to put together a formal response to the original Planning Commission study, and to have that particular study summarized, not addressed formally, other than a few seconds to address some questions between yourselves as the council. That was a soundbite for us too, and represented some of what we're talking about when we say we're not sure we're getting an understanding and a hearing on your part. A discussion needs two parts. You have to have someone speaking and someone listening and some dialogue. And so far, I don't think there's been any discussion and dialogue. The second thing is that I would say to Councilman Barraway that a 2R designation, which was really the council's decision not to build a school, but to allow this to be rezoned to 2R. That 2R designation has many, if not all, of the same kinds of municipal uses that you're citing. So that option is still on the table, and those people who live in that community are still faced with the recycling center, the transfer station, or whatever else, assuming that any part of this thing falls through. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beck. Anyone else? With that, I will close one more. Not just one more, anybody that wants to talk.
My name is Dale Rosine. I live at 12641 West Asbury Place, Lakewood, 80228. I would personally like to thank Councilman Pete Roybal, Councilwoman Ramey Johnson, Councilman David Weichman for their vote no on the 2090 rezoning a month ago. They listened to their constituents. They paid attention to the fact that the changing of this property, I'm going to call it property. To me, it's an undeveloped property. Changing this property and developing it was not the thing to do for the health, the safety, and the welfare of the community. And I'm talking about a community of 2,000 residents that live surrounding the park. Hutchinson Park. Hutchinson Park is adjacent to the property. It's complemented by the property. It's been complemented by it for 40 years, and it's going to continue to be complemented by it if it is undeveloped. The only no-cost option for the city here is to leave it alone, just like it has been left alone for the last 40 years. The council needs to repeal their own vote. It won't cost the city extra money. It won't cost the public all the trauma. And I do not appreciate Councilwoman Barraway's threat of municipal purposes becoming a recycling center or some awful thing. It could be a nice thing, too. It could decide to make it part of Hutchinson Park, which would be a logical, commonsensical thing to do. It's been used that way for 40 years already. You don't even have to do anything to change it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, with that, come on down. Just, you know, if you want to talk, you don't have to wait for me to recognize you. Just come on down.
Good evening. Heather Wenger, P.O. Box 260456, Lakewood, Colorado, 80226. I just want to address Mr. Fox. I object to someone who will infringe upon my right to sign a petition and participate in a process that is designed to protect the citizens and allow us. The process is here for a reason. So it's here, and it is our rights as citizens to decide whether or not we are going to sign this petition. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Does anybody have any questions for me? Questions or comments for me? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? So with that, we will close public comment, and I'm sure a number of council members will have some things to say. Let me make very clear, and as one of the speakers referenced, I did do a little piece that's on the website and on Channel 8, again, to clear up a factual piece, to talk about the rezoning process, to talk about the referendum process, and to talk about the facts about this case. Above all, I said we absolutely respect the referendum process. It is foundational to our democracy and to our city charter. So nobody up here is questioning the referendum process. One of the speakers a few minutes ago said the facts are not important. I respectfully disagree. I think the facts are important. When City Council makes a rezoning, we cannot get involved in emotion. We have to deal with the facts of who owns the land, the school district, the facts of how it was zoned. It was zoned for a school for 600. The facts of whether or not it is parkland. It is not parkland. In fact, the last speaker, Mr. Rosine, I thought put it very well. It is undeveloped property adjacent to parkland. He is exactly right about that. One of the speakers said citizens deserve all the facts. I couldn't agree more. One of the speakers said the city previously declared it as open space. That is simply incorrect. So we're going to continue to have a civil community discussion via the referendum process, but let's make sure, please, when we pass out petitions, and I've been approached, many of us have, that we state the facts for those who may sign the petition. Councillor Allen, Councillor Quinn, and then Councillor Barraway.
I just wanted to make a couple comments. The first is people who are out there, that when you're asked to sign a petition, and this is any petition, please do your homework. This obviously is a very heated issue. There's obviously several sides. There's 3 websites you really need to check out. You need to check out the 2090 Coalition. You need to check out the deaf school side, and you also need to check out the city website. So go on there, read them, and make your decision on whether this is a petition you want to sign or not. It does cost the city money to bring things to a vote, but it's also people's right. If they don't believe that the council made the decision that's fair, they have the right to go out and ask citizens if they agree with them to put this on the ballot. But it does have a financial cost to our city, so I just ask the people that are signing the petition to do your homework. For me personally, I stand behind my vote. Somebody did come up here and say that there was no dialogue. You're right. In land use decisions, there's no dialogue because we act as judges. That's our job. We listen to people, they make their case, we make a decision. We can encourage you to have a dialogue with the people who are asking for the zoning change, but we don't have a dialogue about it, and that's because of legal reasons. So I understand that it's very hard for people to accept this, but that's just how it is. And the reason that council voted the way that it did is because it was a matter of looking at the facts and who owns the land and so on and so forth. However, referendum process is there for exactly these reasons, because there are definitely times when citizens don't understand or like the decision that council has made, and that's why we have this provision. So everybody has their right and everybody has the chance to make their case, but I just encourage all the people that are involved in the process to please play fair and do your homework, and I'm sure as a community we'll all come out with the right decision. Thanks.
Councillor Quinn?
Yeah, I just wanted to address one other inaccurate statement that was made up here tonight, and that is that when we make a vote, when we vote on an issue, whether it's a rezoning or anything else, we don't just vote as representatives of one neighborhood or one person or 10 people or 20 people or 30 people. We vote as representatives of the people of the city of Lakewood, all the people of the city of Lakewood. And so that's a very important point to understand. When we vote for all the people of the city. And the other thing, I'm just going to mention this once. Somebody got up here tonight and mentioned the words backroom deal. 3 words. And I have one 3-letter word to respond to that, and that's lie, L-I-E. And that's all I have to say about that.
Councilor Barraway?
Mayor Murphy, actually, Councilor Allen and yourself have covered most of what I was going to say, and that's just, again, to state the facts that currently the land is zoned for a school. And there could be a K through 6 school built there today because it's land owned by Jefferson County Public School District. The school that we have looked at, Rocky Mountain Deaf School, they would have no more than 100 students at their particular school. You're going from 600 students to 100. And I would like also to note, because you can't see, because you're not in the audience or looking out the audience, that just about everybody from 2090 Coalition or those who came up to speak out against the deaf school have all left the council chambers at this point in time, except Mr. Mueller. Thank you. They are not inside these council chambers at this point in time. They've stepped outside the door. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else on any public comment item? I'd like to reinforce Chief McCaskey and Ms. Wright's mention of the Arapahoe House fundraiser. That is a Ralston House fundraiser. Yikes. I got it right in front of me. Ralston House fundraiser. And that, again, is August 11th, right here on the Civic Center Plaza. All right, let's move on to the consent agenda. We just have one resolution. So I would ask that, well, let me just quickly read the instructions. The use of the consent agenda has been made to expedite council action. It contains both resolutions and first reading ordinances. Resolutions are items of a routine nature. Members of the public will have an opportunity in a moment to comment on the proposed resolution. It can be removed for separate discussion under general business if any individual council member wishes to do so. And will the clerk please read the consent agenda items into the record?
The consent agenda consists of items 7 and 8 only. Item 7, Resolution 2012-26, authorizing an agreement between the City of Lakewood and Widener, Mitchell & Cox, LLP, to provide legal services to the City of Lakewood. And item 8, accepting the minutes of the Lakewood Planning Commission meeting of June 6, 2012.
Thank you. I will now open public comment on the consent agenda. No one has indicated a desire to speak on it. By signing up on the roster, anyone wish to speak on the consent agenda? With that, I will close public comment. And Councilor Quinn, I'm ready for a motion.
Thank you, Mayor Murphy. I move for approval of the council minutes, for acceptance of the minutes of boards and commissions, order all ordinances introduced on first reading to be published in the Denver Post with public hearing set for the date included in the ordinance, and for adoption of resolutions, all of which are included in the consent agenda items introduced into the record by the city clerk.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any council discussion or questions? No presentation from staff. With that, we have a motion and a second. I am ready for a vote. Please cast your votes. And the motion passes unanimously 10-0. The resolution on the consent agenda is a resolution to renew the contract with our city attorney, Mr. Cox, and his firm, Michaud and Widener. Correct me, please. Widener and Michaud.
Widener, Michaud.
Michaud, thank you. Have represented the city very wisely, city council very wisely for the last 5 years. Represent city council and city government. We have a model here with our city attorney's office that is both extremely effective and extremely prudent for our taxpayers. And the renewal of the contract for the next 5 years is something that we eagerly look forward to continuing to work with you, Tim. You and your entire firm have done a great job for us, so thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and council members. If I take this opportunity to say it's been a fast 5 years. We have things we learn every day in this job, and It's been a real pleasure, and I hope to continue serving with you all for many years to come. Thank you.
All right. There are no second reading ordinances, so under general business, I would ask, assuming there's nothing else, under general business, I would ask Councilor Quinn to read a motion for an executive session into the record.
Mayor Murphy, I move to go into executive session for the purpose of considering personnel matters pursuant to Section 2.15, parentheses.
Oh, sorry.
LRA, the LRA meeting.
I thought we were doing that after this. No, the motion to the executive session is to hold it after the conclusion of the LRA meeting.
Right. The last sentence is to commence immediately following the meeting of the LRA.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let's just start from the top.
Okay. I move to go into executive session for the purpose of considering personnel matters pursuant to Section 2.15, paren C, paren 8 of the Lakewood Home Rule Charter and Section 24-6-402, paren 4, paren F of the Colorado Revised Statutes, for which no individual who is the subject of the discussion requested an open session, and specifically advising the City Council regarding a partial restructuring of various city departments, divisions, and functions. The executive session is to commence immediately following the meeting of the Lakewood Reinvestment Authority.
Second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second by Councilor Koop. Any discussion? Please cast your votes. Scott. Hit the switch there. And the motion passes unanimously. Executive report, Ms. Hodson? No? Yes?
No report.
All right, thank you. Mayor and City Council reports. I have given my report on the situation in Aurora, so once again, our thoughts and prayers go out to all of our friends out there. Scott, anything?
No.
Councilor Paul?
Mayor, I have a few things, and I think first and foremost, again, to echo what you just said to our friends, not only in Aurora, but throughout the state, and also to reemphasize what we've heard, that Aurora is a safe town, Lakewood's a safe town. We live in a safe state and a safe country, so I encourage people to continue to do what we do, but keep in mind the special people that were lost for no reason. Wanted to address a couple of things. I have some folks here who have kind of hit the pavement trying to make the folks in our area aware of the zoning rewrite. Mr. and Mrs. O'Neill are here. I just wanted to say that while there was some information that the end of comments would come at the beginning of August, we're going to continue to take comments all the way through the process. So there'll be no deadline. We'll see updates that'll come back to us, but there won't be a deadline where it's cut off. So that'll give you plenty of time, more people, more time to comment on anything along those lines. And I also wanted to talk about the wonderful trails. They've done some trail alignments up on Green Mountain, which is really cool, and they've done some different things. And I'd encourage people not to be trailblazers. They've made nice new paths. Don't make your own, please, because starting to see where people kind of try to make their own, and it creates erosion, as my friend Tom Quinn would probably talk about at length, what that can do for the natural areas. So please enjoy the open space, but stay on the paths. And then lastly, we heard a lot about the rewrite, and again, I just would like to emphasize, or not the rewrite, the rezone at 2090. I'd like to emphasize civility and honesty. This is tough. And somebody said, we don't live there. Well, we do live there. We live in those neighborhoods. We live in Lakewood, and we represent all who live in Lakewood. So it's tough for all, but we can have open and honest communication, and we can also support the democratic process, which I had a professor once say is like making sausage. It's not real pretty, but the end result can be okay. So keep it going. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilor Barraway?
Thank you. And actually, I'm just going to follow up on two things you just said, Councilor Paul. One is on the rezone, or the zoning rewrite. I'm on the Citizens Advisory Committee, as are some of the other folks here on council. And just so you know that along the way, as we come up with different drafts, those drafts are made available to the community. You have the opportunity to review those, send us your comments. There really isn't necessarily a cutoff date. You have up until the night we actually talk about it on a second reading here in council to continue to provide us with information and feedback on the various nuances of the zoning rewrite. So please don't think that there's necessarily a set-in-stone deadline for that. The conversation will continue until we actually pass it through City Council, and probably will continue after that as well when we start to find out what things we need to tweak. And I just want to I think I may have misspoke a little bit earlier. The current zoning is we just passed the zoning to R2, but the zoning prior to that on the plan development did say that there was availability to build a school there. It was zoned to build a K-6 school on the original. It did not designate it for parkland purposes or open space. That's not a threat. That's the facts. Thank you.
Councilor King?
Both council members haven't filled out their .5K applications. I'd be glad to hand carry those. And if you would please put down for team name ABC Quilts. There's competition last year between our police department and ABC Quilts as to who is going to have the largest group. You can also do it online.
Thank you. Again, we look forward to the event. Councilor Allen?
No report.
Councilor Roybal?
No report.
Councilor Quinn?
I just have to mention, I wish the Ralston House .5K included like some zombies that would jump out and chase you. I don't know if anybody saw that article in the Sentinel last weekend. I think it's a Red Cross event. It's called the Zombie or Run for Your Life. We have to actually evade zombies, and if you wear these things around your waist, and if the zombies pull out a certain number of them, you have to become a zombie. You know, that's creativity. But anyway, no, it sounds like a lovely event, and I'm planning on attending. So
We'll have
thank you.
police dogs there. You want me to see what I can do?
Oh. Yeah, but are they zombie police dogs?
One fight or two.
Yeah. Sick 'em. Councilor Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilman Karen Kellen and myself will be resuming our Ward 1 meetings the third Saturday in August. We do not have a formal agenda. We want to hear from you and look forward to seeing you there. It's at 9 o'clock in the morning at the Business Improvement Development Office over on West Colfax. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Wickman?
No report.
Margie, anything?
No report.
Tim? Anything? Nothing? All right. I now adjourn the meeting of the Lakewood City Council